So what's up, people, and welcome to the Chapter 16 discussion of Ori no Naka no Soristo, or Soloist in a Cage. So, Chapter 16 came out a few days back, and as always, I will leave the link to that chapter that's currently being shown on the publisher's official website, Manga Plus, for free to the North American audience. So if you're interested, yeah, go take a look at it. Okay, so Chapter 16. Yeah, I would have to admit, this was a really painful chapter to read. And yes, it's because of the fact that in this chapter, Chloe goes up against Delta. And as mentioned in my previous discussion in Chapter 15, this is a story that really doesn't pull any punches with regards to the confrontations that come out. It isn't like one of those comics where the main character is so OP in her capabilities that she overwhelms everybody, and she has such large amounts of plot armor that no matter what the enemy does, they can't get at her. That is not the type of story this is. This is very much a story based on the realism of the battle. There is no possibilities of full recovery if you get injured, like you see in something like Dragon Ball. You know, the moment you take a senzu bean and all of a sudden 5 weeks of sheer destruction is immediately cured, right? In this comic, if you get injured, you are going to pay the consequences of that. And that makes reading this chapter so painful. Now, in the beginning, this starts out with Delta's analysis of Chloe, just watching her and seeing what sort of person she is. He starts understanding that this is a person who grew up to survive. She has learned all the various tricks for survival, and from that he deduces that she is a child of the prison society. And he also understands that she has learned to kill, and she has killed many times. Looking at the remains of his cohorts and seeing how they were killed in a highly efficient manner, which he feels gave them the minimum amount of pain, he realizes that she is an efficient but compassionate killer, and she takes heart to every victim that she kills. And from there, he understands that her soul is starting to get overburdened by the people that she has killed. But of course, this doesn't stop him from going after Chloe, and in fact, it makes him even more passionate to taking her down. And of course, once we get into battle, we understand once again, this author does not pull punches just because the main character is the main character. And considering the fact that she initially had problems even with hunger, we were going to see that she probably has problems fighting against Delta, and we absolutely see that in this chapter. If you were to compare the two fighting styles, this is high amounts of skill and agility versus sheer brute strength and crafty, underhanded tactics. And as good as Chloe is in being able to fight opponents, when it comes to sheer battle of power, there is absolutely no way that she can overcome him, as we see in many scenes in this chapter. And considering the fact that she fights in a very ethical manner and he fights in a very underhanded manner, there are going to be times when she gets caught in his tactics. And once that happens, you see the devastation that he can deliver. And once again, this is a type of comic where the main character will not heal from the injuries that she receives from such a powerful fighter like Delta. And despite it all, Chloe puts her entire life on the line to protect the children and win the battle. And it even makes Delta surprised at just how much she's willing to sacrifice. And at that point, we see once again one of the characteristics of this comic, which is so endearing to me, which is how you could actually bring in softness and beauty to a comic that's so dark and violent when he asks why she's willing to sacrifice so much to protect the children. And the scene that you see between her and Leo is absolutely heartwarming and beautiful. Now, with that said, reading this chapter makes me wonder, maybe this is going to end pretty soon. Or at least I start feeling that, unlike the last chapter, Chloe may end up having to escape with the children. Because I don't know how she's going to continue on with all of the injuries that she has received. Some of those injuries are going to cripple her permanently. And I don't know how she will be able to survive in the prison city if she doesn't successfully escape during this opportunity. Now, of course, in this chapter, we get another cliffhanger that leaves Chloe in a situation where you wonder how the children and her are going to escape, considering the situation that this chapter has put her in. And if you want to see what happens, then you should go take a look at the chapter and read it specifically rather than to hear it from me. But in any case, this of course opens up the curiosity and the question of what will happen in chapter 17. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens, although I dread some of the possibilities that may come up. But in any case, that is the chapter 16 discussion for Soloist in the Cage. And I will continue to bring out more videos as new chapters come out, and I hope you join me at that time. And until the next chapter, happy manga reading, and as always, Jaya, nice day everyone.